browser doesn't recognize any of the formats. Frequently asked questions.
So we're still fucking.
We don't know that. You're being recorded. Watch your effing bombs.
What do you mean being recorded? Oops, okay. Effing bombs. No effing bombs. I am sorry about the effing bombs. Well, you gotta let me know when I'm being recorded.
You're being recorded. You're alive.
It's unfair because I don't know.
I can still hear you.
Okay. You can hear me where in there?
Possibly any second now when I fix this, okay?
So I wasn't being recorded. You were lying to me. Where's my wooter?
Could you be quiet?
My wooter. Don't worry, I'm not gonna hit you, Millie.
Find
it's
your
okay.
water.
It's okay, Millie. Come here. Wanna lay on a record? Come here. Wanna lay on one of my records? Here. There you go. You're gonna lay on my record. There you go. You won't break my record. I know you won't break my record. No, you won't break my record. Does that smell like? That was a poo.
No, I'm not trying to, because every time I do it, screw me.
See, look at her. Look at the mill. Look at the milly mill.
Oh, I hear you again. I see you again.
You see me again.
Yes, I do.
You do. So are we live or no?
Yep.
Hey everybody, it's Northern Redneck, Eddie Riel. How you guys doing? We're kind of in the middle of a ice storm up here in the north, in Massachusetts, and because of that, I missed my radio broadcast tonight on WJOX 103.3 Valley Free Radio, which has concurrently been rescheduled. What's the date on that, babe?
I believe it's the 31st, but if you give me a second, I'll go look at the calendar to make sure of that.
Yeah, it is. It's the 31st.
Yep, it'll be from 8 to 9 p.m. on March 31st.
March 31st, 8 to 9 p.m. So, yeah, if you guys want to tune in to that, that would be cool. I can't hear myself over there. Can you actually turn the volume up?
You're not going to be able
on
to
that?
hear yourself
All
over
right.
there. There's no way. Just
You gotta
talk.
give me a
I can
Bluetooth.
see you.
Okay. So is anybody tuned in? Is anybody, can anybody comment or talk? Or?
I really can find out in a few minutes, but I want to give it a few minutes. I just shared the link, but even still, people are going to see this afterwards too.
Okay. All right. So anyway, we had some difficulty tonight trying to get this whole thing off the ground. I don't know if it's the storm, internet connection, or what, but I'm pretty glad to be able to chat with everybody here and kind of let everybody know what's going on in my world. I'm currently recording 2 albums at the same time and working on stuff that I'm writing and trying to figure out what's going to go where. That's always the hardest part. There's part of me that just wants to like pop out singles all the time and just say, okay, you know, here's something new, and you can buy it for $1, or you know, you can whatever, rather than work on these long productions of making a full-length CD. And you live and you learn as you go along. Of course, all my stuff can be purchased as singles anyway off of all the various websites that it's sold on. So if you're interested in something, you can go and get it, you know, on numerous music sites, download stores. So anyways, yeah. Part of this was supposed to be a question and answer, so...
But it got kind of late by the time I figured the program out.
Yeah, but this is going out worldwide, so...
Oh, that's true.
So, where are you? Are you here to be able to man this thing? Because I don't, you know...
I will in a minute. Just ask me.
I'm kind of a Tommy Hillbilly, so I don't really know.
Drink of water.
I'm not big on all this technical
Why don't you play
stuff.
a song and then we'll get to finding out who's listening.
Play a song?
Yeah.
Alright. What would you like to hear?
I like your new one. A place for me?
How about...
I'm making my water up because I have that.
tore my world apart. She left a great big hole in me. But all the things she took from me, she left me with her broken memory. And I'll get over you in time. My friends say I'll be just fine. And I'll get over you, I know it's true. If I could just convince my broken heart to. She broke my heart, tore my world apart. But in my heart is where she'll stay. 'Cause all the things she took away, she left me with her broken memory. And I miss her though I can't tell her so. At least I won't be lonely though. 'Cause all the things she took away, and my broken heart is where she'll stay. And I'll get over you, even though I feel so blue. I drink another beer for you, as I wipe away a tear for you. Will I get over you? And I miss her so, I can't tell her though. But I won't be lonely, you know. 'Cause all the things she took away, and my broken heart is where she'll stay. And I'll get over her in time. And all my friends say I'll be fine. And I'll get over her, I guess that's true. But if I could just convince my broken heart to. And I'll get over you, even though I feel so blue. I'll drink another beer for you, as I wipe away the tears for you. But I'll get over you. I miss her though, I can't tell her so. But I won't be lonely though, 'cause all the things she took away, and my broken heart is where she'll stay. That was her broken memory. That's pretty new. I'm hoping to get that out, if not on the new record, pretty quick as a single. And probably the first place you'll be able to check that out is SoundCloud, and then you can probably purchase it right off of Bandcamp. And yeah. So who we touching base with out there?
Nobody right now.
Nobody right now. Well, it is.
I'm gonna put down. Hello, this is Lori.
Well, it is about 2:45 in the morning, so. But we're snowed in here, and we're kind of cabin bound and out of our minds. And as I say, I missed that.
And we didn't have this pre-scheduled. We were gonna do it earlier, but I never broadcasted it because I didn't know how it was going to come out. So.
Right.
'Cause it's
Well, why
I'm
don't
gonna go up
you
and check your Twitter real quick.
why don't you ask me some things that you think people might want to because incidentally, my wife is my promoter, and she does a great job of it, and basically handles all the clerical stuff. Not to say that I don't go on and bang around and talk to a lot of you folks on Twitter and Facebook and all over the place, but
A sure way to definitely get him though is on Facebook private message because he's pretty good at doing that.
yeah, Facebook private message, Twitter. I very rarely get to bang around on there.
I do relay the messages to you, and then we.
But my wife does relay them, and
Usually
she's on there more watching what's going on, of course, because she's promoting it there. So.
If you do ask him a personal question on Twitter, or a direct message, I do give it to him, and he responds to that himself.
And no question is too ludicrous either, because I've gotten some whoppers, let me tell you. And
The kitty's looking at me.
and I do like to communicate with folks and kind of be I don't know, I'm tired. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. But anyways.
Well, almost 3.
I mean, yeah, I like to, kind of know what people are thinking out there, and my sole purpose is basically just to be heard. It isn't really, I mean, I'd be lying if I said, I'm not, that I'm not looking to sell music. Obviously, I mean, yeah, if you can make a buck on something you love to do, well, then you do it. But it's basically it's really a labor of love, and it's an art. It's a gift that I don't really think I'm all that gifted. I might have the gift of putting 3 or 4 chords together, maybe 5 or 6, and a few fancy things, and singing a song. But to me, if that's my gift, then it should be shared with folks, And as it stands right now, I sure ain't no wealthy fella, but I sure am, enriching a lot of people's, souls and hearts with the music. And in turn, it comes back because when I get the comments and the nice words, well, that obviously makes you feel good and makes you want to keep going. 'Cause you feel like you're doing something right in the world. That's kind of a little bit about what my whole music is based around. Is being as pure as it possibly can, and it's just real music, which is kind of funny, it's been like the little catch Nim joke because of my name, and but it really is reality based. A lot of it's not so much just my life stories, but just the way that I view the world and things I've experienced over these 46 years of living, and I definitely put my heart and soul into it. And, it was never really meant to go anywhere other than this room, which was kind of funny that it actually took off, because I'm a wicked nervous individual, for the most part. A lot of people say, that it doesn't show, but I mean, I battle anxiety and all that stuff that a lot of folks battle, and quite honestly, I got to tell you, I've been in music my whole life, and I was a drummer for 30 some odd years before I got into this, and it's probably what led me down the path to this. I never really had any issues with stage fright or any of that, being with a band, because you're walking on a stage with 4 or 5 other guys and you're buried behind a set of drums, and I felt like I was pretty good at that, I mean, it was something that I had done my whole life, and I was pretty good at it, and I felt good about it, and it was really easy to do. However, you know, strapping on a guitar and sitting down in front of a microphone for the first few times was, it was quite frightening. And I guess a lot of people didn't get that, though. It didn't convey that that was what I was actually feeling. And I found the best thing to do was just to get lost in what I was doing and just do it to the fullest. And you know, if I screwed it all up, and then whatever, you know, forgive me. And surprisingly, most crowds are more forgiving than you would imagine, you know. And I think that if your words are good and your delivery is focused and pure, and a lot of people are going to get that. And I got to say, the biggest part of doing music for me is you folks who actually listen to it and like it, and tell me these wonderful things. And it's not really an ego trip or self-centered thing. It's more like, I can't believe it. You know, I mean, you know, I'll post something and it'll get like 1 million hits somewhere, or you know, an incredible amount of plays real fast, or a lot of people will dig it, and I'll be like, geez, I never would have thought, you know. And some of the songs that I play live, I got to tell you, I don't think they're all that strong, and it's really funny to find out the ones that people like. But you know, I like everything I do, but I guess you always wonder what you're supposed to be doing, and I kind of stopped doing that. Whatever's around, you know, around here we have Kicks, and some other country channels. I go for the indie stuff, like what I'm actually on, to hear what's going on out there. That's how I get tagged on to a lot of you other folks out there that are doing the same thing, you know. Because I know a lot of my fans and listeners are musicians as well. And I find that interesting because growing up, the only country I really heard is what my dad listened to. And it was really old stuff. We're talking Hank Williams, Eddie Arnold, Ernest Tubb, Conway Twitty, Cash, George Strait, Jones, you know, all the Red Savoyne, you know, all the good guys, Hank Senior, and didn't mean much to me because it was my dad's music. See, my dad's 80 years old, so when I was a tyke, he was probably in his late 30s, early 40s. And he was still listening to music that he was brought up on, which was probably from the 40s and the 50s, you know, maybe even farther back than that. So, you know, growing up in the mid-70s and 80s, you know, and having two older sisters that were into the whole British invasion thing, and my mother with the Beatles and all that, and the Stones, my dad's music seemed kind of to shy in comparison, you know, because as a kid you're more wound up. That's how I kind of took it, but it was always there, you know. There was always Willie Nelson or something playing, you know. And when he'd take me in his 18-wheeler, in his rig, he was a truck driver for years. I mean, he'd have the 8 tracks in there, Hank Senior, you know, and I remember him trying to yodel and do that whole Hank Williams kind of thing. Wow, man, you know, I was like, Jesus, you know, quit your day job, keep driving these trucks, Pop. But anyway, I think some of that gets stuck in you. And, you know, I went through life, you know, listening to, you know, Ozzy, and I went through the hair metal thing with drumming, and I always embraced every style there was, but it was always more on the aggressive side because I was a young, aggressive kid, you know, and wild guy, you know, wild child, more or less. And but I always had a sense of melodic music, to be melodic, you know, and even when I was into death metal and all that stuff, I went through it all. And when I started writing my own songs, I really didn't know where to go with it, you know. I could play a few chords, but I didn't have a voice like the guy from Warrant or Ozzy or you know, Boston or nothing like that. And when I first started writing songs, you know, they were kind of, you know, my own songs that I just played in here, and then I decided, well, you know, I got 3 songs, I'm going to go play an open mic, or I'm going to go do a show. So for almost a year before I even took this stuff out anywhere, shot a video or did an open mic or played anything public, I was messing around with, you know, the 3 original songs that I wrote. And they were kind of shabby because I hadn't found my voice. I didn't know where to go with them. And so I started messing with some covers. And it was on a cover that my wife, being a choral singer of a lot of years, said, why don't you find your own voice and, you know, sing in your own range? And I'm like, well, I got a low voice, man. I can't hit highs. And if I recall, I was in the studio recording what I was doing to see what it sounded like back, to see if it, you know, if it sucked, or, you know, if you know, and it really didn't matter what anybody else thought, 'cause a lot of people were like, oh, geez, you're pretty good, but, you know, I'm a critical person. You know, if I don't like what I'm doing, I don't like what I'm hearing, well, then I don't like it. I don't want to present it to somebody because it's not really what I want to do, and I'll be honest about what I'm doing. So I think it was a Real Speedwagon song. I think it was Take It On the Run, and I was trying to do that in my own voice, but I really wasn't doing that. I was more or less still scratching and trying to hit highs and notes, and she said, why don't you just sing it in your own voice, like how you would talk, bring that to a talking, you know, into a singing level, and breathe and do this and that and hit your dips. And she goes, you can substitute, you know, the highs for power, you know, get louder, throw some emotion in there. And you know, we kind of thought about it, and I said, oh, you're crazy, man, you know, this is like, you know, an 80s rock ballad, it's sung this way, you know. But I humored her, and I did it, and I sang the whole thing through, and I sang it in my own voice. And I didn't like it as I was doing it. I hated it. I'm thinking I wanted to quit, but I made a pact that I was going to sing the whole song out from the heart, putting everything into it from beginning to end. And then, you know, we're going to listen to it back, you know, in a day or so. Because the guy that was in there is like, yeah, I never want to listen to your stuff right back. You want to give it a while, let your ears chill, and then come back and hear it from a different perspective. And so I said, yeah, all right, cool, we'll do that. So I sang it, put the guitar down. In the place we were playing in was this huge mill. I mean, it was like a block, like a city block, walking from one end of the place to the other to go to the bathroom. So I went to the bathroom and spent a little time down there. And on the way back, I guess they had decided to roll it and listen to it, play it back, you know, and clean it up a bit, you know. And they got it coming through the PA monitors. And when I walked down the hall, I was taken aback because it sounded to me like somebody doing it. You know, the closest thing to my mind was, Jesus, it sounds like a country rendition of Take It On the Run. And the vocals sound good. It almost sounded famous to me. I thought, oh my God, I'm like, that sounds really good. And when I walked in, I'm like, is it, you know, as I hate my voice, I hate what I'm doing, but that sounded good to me. And the wife was beaming, and she goes, that's your voice. She goes, see, it works. And I'm like, oh, all right. So when I started writing my own songs, I started writing them in that vein, you know, in that area. And I mean, I'm sure there's people that could say, well, you could have took voice lessons and you could have done this and that, but You know, I stretched far as a drummer to go out of my natural ability, and I realized that sometimes when you go and push too much, then it becomes not fun. And I always wanted this to be special. This is something that I felt like I wanted to do naturally, that I didn't think I was going to be able to do at all. So when I stumbled onto something that worked, it was the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I just kept going, and now, 5 years later, you know, a whole bunch of songs later and a few records, a lot of people are liking it, and it's pretty amazing. It's a pretty amazing thing. And it kind of brought me full circle back to what my dad used to listen to. And one of my most popular songs that got a lot of attention was "Walking On," which was written about my dad and the relationship I had with him. You know, that's where I think I started getting deemed as, you know, I'd go places and the older folks and even the young guys would come up and shake my hand. Oh, geez, you write some great country songs, son. Oh, you're a great country artist. But I wasn't really trying to be a country artist. But, you know, when I stopped and thought about it, I'm like, well, you know what, man? Kind of a small town boy turned hillbilly, you know, for a while out here in these hills, you know, of western Massachusetts, and you know, kind of a bit of a northern redneck, so that's where that whole thing came from, you know. And I just, if they were going to deem me as country, well, I guess that's what it can be, but I still don't really think a lot of my stuff is solid country. And I've heard it said that people say, oh, geez, I don't usually like country, but I like what you're doing. And I think because I don't start out with a typical country thing, but it has definitely creeped in there and gotten to that point. And so we just keep moving on with it. And that's kind of, and it's a battle every day, you know. I mean, I write songs pretty quick, and I think a lot of it is, you know, the kind of life I lived, and I've always got a guitar in my hands, or one on a stand. I've got guitars all over the house, and people come over and they're like, well, that's a really nice guitar, man, that should be in the case. And I'm like, well, if it was in the case, then I wouldn't freaking pick it up and play it, you know. It wouldn't taunt me, you know. It's kind of like, you know, if you're married to a hot wife and she's, you know, dressed up in a flannel nightgown and, you know, always under the cover on the couch. I mean, but if she's walking around in her whatchamacallit, and you're going to be more attempt to go and fiddle with it, you know. I know it's a crazy analogy. I am a redneck, see, but I mean that's how it is. I mean, if I've got an SJ200 on a stand and it's mocking me all day, you know, well then I got to pick it up, and next thing you know, I'm, you know, my daddy was walking there, whatever, you know, and just something happens, you know, a song, you know, I've got a million stories in my head, and people, it's kind of crazy, but that really is how it happens, and then I kind of hold them out, and I never write down lyrics, maybe a few liner notes and some of the new stuff until I can figure out what the chorus is going to be, and then I just remember it all, and so I guess maybe I do got a gift, I don't know, but I don't think what I do is all that special. I think it's pretty much, I'm no different than anybody else out there doing their music, but I've achieved some pretty cool attention, and currently, right now, I can't say too much about it, but I've had I don't know what you call those. What do you call that guy? Is he
A&R.
An A&R. What's that? Artist relations?
Artist and repertoire.
Artist and repertoire.
From a major label.
Fellow from a major, very major label.
Contacted us
And asked for an M4A of a single of a song that I had, and we sent that out. We sent a couple of them out, but that's one of the biggest things that I've ever achieved musically. To tell you, you know, and I mean, what it all means, I have no idea. But I think it's pretty cool that at least, and put it this way, I mean, if I couldn't play anymore tomorrow, I could be happy with knowing that, you know, well, hell, at least I attracted, you know, because it is. I don't want to say anything because, you know, obviously nothing's transpired yet, and I don't know that it even will. And even if it were, I wouldn't know, you know, and things like that. You got to kind of, I know there's all kinds of things you can and can't say and do, you know. So I'm not going to mention the name of that label, but it is one of the biggest labels in the world, and I think that's pretty cool, you know. I mean, if it happens, I'll be ecstatic. I mean, I guess it could change my life, I suppose, but you know, it's not what I'm doing it for, and that's not really what I'm banking on. Every day for me is just another day. I'm going on 47. I've been musically inclined my whole life. I've been through the whole try to be a rock star thing and, you know, live at large, but kind of gotten to the point right now where I'm not a rich guy, you know. I live in a small pad. I got a cat, I got a wife, I got a son, I got a 14-year-old car, and got a couple of guitars. I play music. I'm sober for the most part.
I gotta say something real quick because I'm laughing as I'm walking by it again. The last time we were playing music and the actual camera just...
Especially weird as that.
But it right off, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah, I would say.
We definitely live like rednecks.
Oh yeah, we totally look like rednecks. We were really careful about how we positioned the cameras. I'm like, you can't let them see the pile of
He made a homemade
sugar over there.
He made a homemade device so we could put the camera on it so we can view him.
Yeah, it's really redneck. Trust me, it's a 3-tree guitar stand, and I got a piece of Luan plywood sitting on the top with an iPad and a homemade iPad. What do you call it? A holder, I guess.
Yeah, you made a homemade wooden holder for it.
Well, yeah, I went down to Walmart and they had like this like real cheesy thing that you could stick your iPad in so you could set it up and look at it like a TV or whatever, a monitor.
Like
it was like 30. No, it was like $30 to $50.
Yeah, something.
And those weren't even the cool ones. And the guy's like, "Well, for the better one over here." And I'm like, "Dude, I could go home and like cut up my bookshelf and build something to slip that in, just same thing, and line it with some some fabric or whatnot." So that's kind of what I did, and. Yeah, I make everything. Like my cat needed a window seat right back here, so why go out and buy one when you can just build one, you know what I mean? A couple screws, a little bit of whatever. But yeah, so yeah. I don't have a lot of money, and I don't live lavishly. But I'm pretty rich, I'm pretty rich in here with my music and what I love to do with my family, my wife, and my son, and I've got some of the best fans and friends in the world that a guy could have, and I'm very careful about who I kind of let in my circle now, because I've had some bad experiences, but for the most part it's been pretty good. I haven't had too many haters come at me, and I haven't been harassed or anything like that in the valley, and in a recent conflict that was going on between another local musician, I will say no names, but I was surprised at how many folks, just kind of stayed middle ground on that. Or came out and defended me, which is kind of nice.
Or supported you more or less.
Or supported me, yeah. But it happens, The world ain't a beautiful place all the time, and it's not full of saints. It's full of sinners and saints. That's why I wrote a song about it.
Hey, why don't you sing that one?
I'm a sinner and a saint. Huh?
Want to interlude it into a song?
I suppose.
I'd like to hear some more songs.
It's 3:30. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, though.
It's just an acoustic guitar. You're not yelling. It's not like it's rock music with a drum set.
Yeah. All right. I suppose I can do sinners and saints. I can remember. It's the Sinners and Saints. Well, I've been a sinner, I've been a saint, a story my whole life could paint. And I've been down to hell and back, but I'm okay, I guess I'm right on track. Grandpa used to tell me the world would knock me down, but just you get back up, son, and you go another round. I walked along that lonely street of broken blues. I felt a little rain inside these shoes, and I've danced with the devil, and I prayed to the Lord above. That's just the story life can paint, but deep inside we're all sinners and saints. Just a sinner and a saint. Along the way, there were some choices, but they say on our shoulder there is two voices. Along the way, I didn't choose right, but I never gave up that fight. 'Cause Grandpa used to tell me the world would knock me down, but just you get back up, son, and you go another round. I've danced with the devil, and I prayed to the man above. That's just the story life can paint, but I've been known as a sinner and a saint. I'm just a sinner and a saint. Along the way, I've made bad choices, but they say on a shoulder there is two voices. And I'll be dancing with that devil, I might dance right down in hell. That's just the story life can paint, but I've been known as a sinner and a saint. Grandpa used to tell me the world would knock you down, but just you get back up, son, and you go another round. Sinners and Saints. With a little extra something in there, as always. So, yeah. Hope you guys like that. I don't know what else I can do. And I'm not using a pick, so I'm hoping things are coming out here. We're being heard. So, what else do you think these fine people want to hear?
You asked me this as I have a piece of food in my mouth.
What are you doing? Eating a muffin?
Part of one.
You ain't seen nothing until you're down on your muffin. There's sure to be a change in your way.
At least a low-carb muffin, anyway.
Oh, it's a low-carb muffin?
It has to be. I'm diabetic.
Oh, I thought they were kind of all the same muffins.
Mm-mm.
You just want it to be low-carb, so you can say that?
No.
No.
Artificial sugar.
Look at this.
Low carb is actually artificial sugar.
Look at this. I'm eating a low-fat Whopper. Why is it low-fat? Well, I don't know. Because it's got to be. I'm fat.
I've made a recipe of my own blueberry muffins to low carb, like maybe with almond flour.
Yeah. So, what do we got for shows coming up? We got mostly in the area here. You're thinking about doing something in New Jersey eventually, right? Though.
Well, a little bit south of Hartford, I guess.
That would be cool.
The person lives in New Jersey and they'd be willing to come up a little bit as long as you're playing.
I think if we were to play down there.
I know if we did New York or something, which would be kind of out of this world, but you know that would be kind of cool if we could find a place.
New York's a zoo, man.
Well, even in the outskirts, you know.
Yeah. I think we should start heading more towards.
We're pretty used to playing in little small places, you know.
Yeah, they're the best.
Mm-hmm.
They're great, you know. Especially, well, not too small, but I actually do better in the bigger places that are louder and rowdier if they got a good sound system. I find you know, it carries better there. I just did a show a couple days ago over here, right here in my hometown, at the place where I started out. And, it's a really awesome place. It's pretty big on the map for where it is. It's a really quaint little joint. It's called Luthier's Co-op. And it's a really cool place because it's a guitar shop. But it's not your average guitar shop. It's mostly used stuff.
Matter of fact, your next show is there.
There's no consignment there. It's all... Mostly, if it's not used, it's super vintage. But they also are real high-quality luthiers that can do just about anything you need done to any kind of guitar, be it a classic relic, you know, brand new, whatever. But the cool thing about it is they also have a bar in there. It's no hard liquor, but it's a beer and wine bar. And they have a stage with lights and sound system, and by day it's a guitar repair shop, it's sales room, and I suppose you can buy a beer too if you want, you know. But it's mostly strictly, you know, the business end of the thing. And by night and on weekends, it turns into a music scene, and it's really cool. But for some reason, I always feel comfortable there playing, and I mean, I always come off sounding pretty good, I guess, but I always feel like it's just not, you know, like I'm not, when I'm hitting the heavier stuff or the, you know, the rowdier stuff, the barroom songs, I feel like they're not really coming off in there because it's so low quaint, you know. And, you know, in the sound system, it's good, very good sound system, but it's not a super powerful system because the place ain't a very big place, but it's a very cool place. And I've often said that I actually feel more nervous there than anywhere else because everybody's so close and it's so low key. Whereas, like, if I go and say Whiskers, you know, where everybody's far away from the stage, it's a big stage, it's wicked loud, you know. I mean, it's like, you know, no matter how loud the crowd gets, the sound system is always going to overtop it.
You had asked me about the shows. Now that my mind is working right and I don't have my mouth full of food, your next show, I believe, is April 25th. It is at Luthier's Co-op. It is a Saturday.
How come I see what I'm doing over there on that thing for
That's
like
delayed.
5
Don't look
minutes
at
ago?
that. You not need to look at that.
Well, what are they saying?
They're saying that, but you're a little delayed. You're saying it and they're getting it later. It's always going to be like that. I wouldn't look at that.
But when they see it, is it normal?
Yes.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Look at me.
They're just back a little bit, that's all.
Cool. That is weird.
That's why I don't look at it too much.
Turn that thing towards me so I can see it.
You don't want to do that because it's going to mess you all up. Last time I did that, it messed up the video. It's like seeing a ghost of the past. April 25th, It's a Saturday from 7 to 8 p.m. You would playing Luthiers. You'll be opening for Boys by the Door. Your friends there.
Oh yeah, those are my friends.
Greg
Boys by the Door.
And
So anybody who's up here in the Western
Greg,
Mass
Kevin,
area?
Mark.
Yeah, a bunch of great guys, great musicians too.
We do have another show I just booked at the Bread Euphoria in Haydenville on Route 9. That will be May 23rd from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
That'd be a cool little scene.
We are pending a booking at the American Legion. I don't have a date yet or a time. We got to get into that. But this weather and this season, don't do that.
The whole
don't,
season
don't
and
do
weather
that.
sucks
Use a little
bad.
camera.
I got
But this weather has been so very. You don't want to do that because it'll get the stuff off the battery. You want to shift it that way. Why would you want to do that?
It's fine.
Okay. You're seeing this backwards from when it's getting filmed too. But
Whatever.
it's introverted. But we have a pending booking there. We had a local other venue that we have given some information and a CD to, so we're waiting to hear back on them. I think when the weather breaks, these people are going to be more apt to want to book because the weather has been so terrible that all the gigs in all the areas have just been canceling left and right. I mean, we've gotten hit with so much snow.
And another thing, that I want to say, I'm not really focused on like. Right now, I'm staying. There was a time when I traveled all over the place and played everywhere I possibly could, And well, right now, I'm focusing more. Our focus really is to get music. Is to make music, get it recorded, and get it out there.
And recording, it takes a lot of processes.
So as far as the gigs, I mean, I'm going to try to spread it around, get out there a bit. But a lot of the local stuff. Everything we do is we're going to try to pretty much capture it so that even like you folks all over the place
Do you tell them how
can see that.
That we actually record our own stuff on multiple platforms, but we do it ourselves?
Yeah, we do all the recording out of our home here. And
I have to learn a lot of things. Constantly looking at YouTube videos to try to get a tutorial.
Yeah, but we're doing pretty good.
I'm having fun doing it anyway.
Oh yeah.
As long as the results coming out the way you want to hear it, that's good
well,
for me.
the newer stuff's going to be really crazy
It's
because we're using
really
different
great.
tools.
Oh my goodness, and the video programs I'm using to make the video, it was great.
Well, not only that, I finally decided to break down and record like a professional should record. Most of you who record, know that you do stuff in tracks, and I was always a real stickler because being in a band, you gotta throw the headset on, you gotta drum to nothing or a ghost track. So when I started doing this, it's just a guitar and a voice, a man and his guitar. And that's kind of the way I wanted to keep it. And I'm still going to do a lot of that still because, when you go see me at a show, I don't use a whole lot of turd on top of everything. I basically plug into my system and, I got a few effects on my own system. I sound real good because I can do what I want to do. I mean, I think I sound real good. It's not that I don't sound good on somebody else's. But I always feel more comfortable on my own setup. It's like driving your own car, it's in the right position,
We know how important that is.
So, but either or. I mean, about I mess around with the levels and all that stuff, and then a little bit of reverb, because I think my voice lends itself to that. I don't really use that to cover anything up. I use it to enhance, if anything, And ooh, did you hear that duck running around here?
No, I thought it was your sharecropper.
No, it's a
The cat heard it, I think, for a second there.
Yeah, the cat's out.
No.
Anyway,
She thinks you're telling a story.
but what I'm getting at is the when you come out and you see me live, it isn't this big studio thing where everything's perfect. It's a guy and his guitar singing the songs, and I think that these songs should they should speak for themselves rather than be overproduced. And not that I'm against it, but I mean, for me to create it, it's a lot cheaper. I mean, why would I want to go and spend $3,000 in a studio to make a great record? Being an indie artist, let's face it.
6 to 10.
Anybody out there, if you think you're making a whole lot of money off of selling CDs, pressed, I mean,
Unless you got a label behind you.
it's pretty hard to really make that back. You work really hard. You got to go out all over the place. So but if you're a band, well, you kind of have to do that. But which is kind of a bummer, you know. I mean, I've been in this 30 something years, and I can't tell you a time where we ever really made everything back that we put in. And if we did, it kind of, you know, the funny thing is I've heard some guys say, oh yeah, we made it all back and then some. And it's like, yeah, but, you know, what did you have to do, you know, to do that? You know, it's like, shoot, you know, I mean, I try to live the same life that I normally live all the time without running around, you know, burning my sneakers off, trying to, you know, play every gig in the valley. And it really is an internet world right now. So my biggest thing is we're trying to get the stuff written, recorded, and out there. And then I do the shows, obviously, around here for the people that can see them. And if I start traveling a bit, that's cool too. But everything we do, we're going to try to either podcast it, record it, video it, so that you folks can get the gist of that. Of course, it's never like when you're right there. But the records are probably the best sound you're ever going to get because, yeah, they're going to be more controlled. And now I've decided to go ahead and do all separate stuff. Like, you know, I'll play the guitar first and then, you know, do the voice track with the helmet on and whatnot. I call it the helmet and the headset.
You're not too fond of that, but...
But, you know, it does make for better separation on the record. And, you know, even live, you've got that you have that option of turning down the guitar, boosting the voice, mixing one more than the other, and getting it even. Whereas if I'm going to record here to one track like I was doing, which is cool, I still like to do that. The old folks did that. The old heroes. But it's really hard. I mean, you got to be, you know, you got to pay more attention to how hard you're strumming your guitar, how loud you're singing, and where you are from the mic, and you got to really mess with your levels. And then when you're all said and done, and you're in the mix down, if one or the other ain't quite the snuff, you're screwed because you can't do nothing about it. You can't go turn your vocals up because if you're like, oh wait a minute, in that section I don't really hear what I'm saying. Oh, you get boost it up. Now all of a sudden in the other section the guitar's too loud, you know, and the voice is screaming at you. So this way here it's working out a little bit better, but it's definitely going to drive me mad because I hate doing the whole, you know, singing without a guitar. Matter of fact, when I sing the vocal tracks, I air strum. Or I hold the guitar just so that it feels like it's right. Otherwise, I feel funny, you know. It's like,
do you hum quietly your vocals as you're strumming too? Is the guitar part?
No, I try not to because it'll come out in that track. I gotta not do that. I used to do that as a drummer. As a drummer, I had this thing where I'd grunt and make all kinds of funny noises when I was like pounding on the drums. And we went and recorded one time. And like the engineer's like, there's all these like weird noises, like somebody's having a seizure in there. I don't know if I can take all that out. And I'm like, he's like, I don't know where it came from. It was somebody was in the isolation booth. I'm like, I don't know.
They say Gene Krupa and all the
Yeah,
greats they used to do that.
Yeah, okay, and they weren't even like. And then finally, you know, he got me and he isolated it, and he was like, listen, it's coming through your hi-hat mic. It's you. And it sounded like somebody, you know, having an epileptic fit. And I was like, oops. So I used to have to work real hard at that, doing that when I was drums. But surprisingly, I don't really miss the drums that much. You'd think after doing something that long. And as far as being a solo guy, until somebody tells me different, it's kind of what I'm going to do. And if I do have other instruments on my record, I choose those people that I want to play those instruments and what I want. And as far as playing live, I really like to just go along because, you know, all those years I had to play somebody else's music and meld with someone else, and that's why I liked it, the freedom of it, to just go in at my guitar and sing a song and try to hold a room is pretty nice, you know. And, you know, I've had some folks at open mics kind of jump in with me and do their thing, and there's a couple of guys that are really, really good. But even that's a little shaky because, you know, we're not playing together, we're not rehearsed. But these are real professionals that are backing me up usually, that are pretty good, you know. Got a bass player and a conga guy that go to a few of these places that I pop into, and you know, they're really good. I mean, there's been a couple instances where I've blown off that the guys never even heard before. And there isn't really a whole lot of technicality what I do, but it's the speed, it's the rhythm, and it's the breaks that if you don't know where they are in those changes, I don't care how good you are, it's not going to meld right. But a few of those songs he caught right on, and it sounded like he had been playing with me for 30 years. I was like, wow, you know. Of course, you know, he's a veteran player. Now, if somebody was to pick me up and say, oh, you know, we want to put a band behind you, well, sure, you know. If it goes to that kind of a level and somebody's, you know, then it's more their creation on top of whatever but like that's gonna happen. But no, you know, stranger things have happened, and they say it always happens when you least expect it. Like I mentioned earlier, I got hit up by a national, and whatever happens with that, I don't even know what's going on with that, you know. But the fact that they became aware and they asked for a WAV file that's you know, I would never expected that, you know, especially after just writing and playing songs with a guitar for 5 years, you know. But you know, they say these things happen when you least expect it, and I never thought 16 years ago I'd be married for 16 years and I'd have a son, you know. So you never know in this world, but I never do anything with an expectation. I just do it because I feel I have to. My music, there's days man, you know, I mean, it's tough being a musician, especially a solo artist, you know, in an area that's not really, I've heard it said, I am the only guy doing this particular thing in this area, you know, doing it this way, you know, like it's a completely unique thing. Well, maybe that's good, maybe that's why it's standing out, but on the other hand, it's kind of hard in some ways. But that's never really been the thing that I've fixated on or focused on or worried about. I mean, you know, I take it where I can take it and leave it where I have to, and that's kind of what I do, and I just keep on pressing on. I got just as big a following as other folks, you know, as the next guy. You know, we all have our fans and special places to play where you are accepted, and there's places I'll stay away from because I know it isn't going to happen. Or vice versa. Certain places that wouldn't want to hire me because you know what I do. You know.
You've got 10,700 Twitter followers, or 10,600, 3,000, almost 3,000 Facebook fans.
Really?
On your Eddie Riel Solo Acoustic on Facebook, and you have
in 5 years.
Actually 4.
Really? Well, that's pretty good. I mean, see, I mean, and I'm not bragging either. That's the thing. That's not. I mean, that's.
You've got over 200 Google Plus now. I've been working a little bit on that because I wasn't really familiar with the program.
That's admirable. From I mean,
they're from all over.
I think about. I don't know.
Some of these people we form a really
proud of that.
We form a really big bond with them too. They're musicians from across the pond. So as Alan Sinclair would say in Scotland.
Alan Sinclair.
I never forget
him. If you
him.
see this Alan Sinclair, man, you're the dude. Trust me, I like Alan. He's a good dude.
We always talk about that across the pond.
God, that's somebody you want to check out too. Alan Sinclair and his wife, man. Their music.
Check them out on Facebook and Google Plus.
Highly talented. Really just nice
His wife's
folks.
a really good singer too.
Oh, you kidding me? She's unbelievable. Well, so are you, babe. You sing pretty good too.
I prefer to sing at home though sometimes.
I'll get you out there more. Look at that, we got a phone call.
Oh my goodness.
Who the hell would call us at 3:30 in the morning?
Hello?
It's an actual person?
Where? Oh, I can't talk to him because he's doing a live YouTube stream, but maybe in another 15, 20 minutes he'll call you back. They're actually live. They're live streaming on YouTube right now through all this stuff. No, he's not singing and talking. We're live streaming YouTube right now, the first one.
Who is that, Aaron?
Yeah, it's Aaron.
Aaron from the hills?
You're done in a few. We're almost done.
Oh my God. The hell's he doing rolling around at this hour? Are you kidding me? He called me at 3:30 in the morning?
Yeah, that's crazy.
What the hell is wrong with
My
that guy?
bad. I thought nobody calls.
Who does that?
That's why I left the phone on. I'm like thinking, wow.
Alright, so that's a guy that I grew up, well, I didn't grow up with, but I mean, a guy that I spent almost 15 years out in the hills that I kind of chummed with. In the Berkshire Mountains, where I became a northern redneck. I guess he wants to talk.
We get that from time to time.
I guess I better talk to him. So at some point, but if it wasn't so late and I wasn't so tired, I'd be playing some more music. But I kind of feel like even though I'm in a cool place here, my neighbors don't freak out. I mean, I got a blues singer above me, and a couple cool cats on the side of me, so nobody really flips out. And this guy over on the other side of me, I mean, he works at like a water treatment plant somewhere. He's Navajo, man. He's a Marine. He comes in, he puts on his bathroom fan, he's out, you know. So, I mean, I can play, but there's still that thing that, you know, people might be sleeping and I don't
Well,
want
we're over an hour anyway, so I mean, whatever time you want to. This is good too because it's our first time, so it's like next time hopefully it'll be a little easier. I just don't know if like peak times, our time is good because of the actual Wi-Fi signal was giving me so much grief that it was just not chopping the whole video every couple of seconds and it wasn't doing good.
Now, do you have to let that catch up with itself before you shut it off?
No.
Really?
It's just keeping it from the Narcast program on my PC and then it'll stop at some point when we're done.
Okay.
It'll go right to wherever we decide to stop it.
So a big shout out to some of my friends that are around the country here that I don't see. I want to shout out to Dave Galdier-Det out in Washington. And I want to shout out to Melinda Marie down, she's in Florida now,
I
right?
think she's in Florida now.
Florida. Who else is out there?
Alan Sinclair and his wife.
Alan Sinclair and his wife out there in Scotland.
How about Fear No Evil in New Jersey?
Fear No Evil in New Jersey. So you're digging that Ding Dong song, huh? You know, I played that the other night, and my mother and father, they're 80 years old. They came, and I didn't know how that was going to go over, but it went over pretty good. I figured they were going to kill me. My old man just sat there with his face buried in his hands, red as all hell. And you know, I didn't say no. I just kept on playing. So the next day they called me up and they're like, "Oh yeah." I'm like, "How'd you like the show?" "Oh, it was great. You know, your father says you play really guitar really good." And like, "How'd you like the Ding Dong song?" "Oh, that was cute." And Mom, "It was cute." My 80-year-old mother, the Ding Dong song was cute. I'm like, cool. I'm like,
Your dad like a broken memory, and he, of course, liked the song you did for him, Walking On.
Well, I did a really like drawn out Pink Floyd
That
version
one-
of that.
Junior told me that he looked over when I was videoing you, and he said Pepe was choking up a bit, so
That's a hard song. What's going to be really hard is when he's gone, and I got to play that.
it might take you a little while before you undo it.
Yeah.
We have to learn to embrace what we have for the moment because we never know what tomorrow's going to bring.
Yeah. He was a good dad to me. He was a little bit rough later on, but when I was values. Still trying. I think I'm doing okay. You know, I'm not sober because I'm square, or I'm trying to prove anything, or I dislike it. I love a beer once in a while. Let me tell you, boy. And I've had my share of just about everything out there on the market. And I like that too. But there come a time when things got a little bit too wild, and when I met the woman of my dreams and had a baby, kind of changes a man. And God, in the past 5 years, the music has changed me too. You know, just doing this has changed. I'm changing every day. It's freaky. As well as I'm getting older too. You know, it's weird. It's strange. I couldn't have pictured myself doing this 5 years ago at all, or 10 years ago. I mean, if you would have said, "Hey man, you're going to be playing music and live streaming and making records and singing with the guitar," I'd have been like, "Man, you're nuts, man. I'm a drummer. I don't do that. You know, I can't sing in front of people. I can't sing. You kidding me? You know, no way. You know, I can't write. You know." But apparently, I guess I always wanted to write a book, but I can't spell. For any of you guys who know me and watch my posts and stuff on Facebook and whatever, geez, I'm atrocious, man. My finger gets ahead of me and stuff. I don't, you know, I type horribly.
Thank God for editors. For editing the posts now.
But, yeah, so, but this is like that, you know, a lot of my songs tell some stories and some things that are on my chest that I had to get off. That it's good, you know, it's a good thing, and I like it a lot. And it's better than just a book because I get to convey exactly how I want it to come out. And of course, I'm sure you guys take and get your own meanings out of them too, and digest it the way you see fit. So that's kind of cool, because that's how I always dealt with music as a music lover, and I still do. Oh yeah, you know, I'm going to take a minute to show a couple of these things. Recently, my dad, being 80 years old, sold his house recently. So he told me he had a lot of records in the cellar. His idea of a lot of records. I think I got about 4 here. But these are some of the records that he gave me, that he had bought back in the 60s and 70s when he was listening to music. We got Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison.
Make my hand bring your face a little bit.
Eddie Arnold. What's the name of that one there?
I want to go with you. Your
I
fingers.
Want to Go With You. Jim Reeves. And I got Dad's favorite record of all time.
Hold that one steady for a while when you do it.
He used to have this one in his truck on 8-track. And I guess he loved a lot of songs on the Johnny Overload. Johnny Overload. You coughed in the middle of that.
Sorry.
And how many?
We coughed before we did this. Now I'm coughing.
And I remember this around the house, probably before I started kindergarten. And yes, I can remember that far back. I can't remember what I had for dinner, but there's a and I can see why it touched him. And like, you know, hang it up sometimes. I mean, it's powerful stuff, man. But I wrote a song called Giddy Up Go, and that's where I got the idea. And if you ever hear my song Giddy Up Go, it isn't a rip-off of that. It has nothing to do with the whole thing. The meaning of this song, if you listen to Red Savoy's Giddy Up Go, it's a whole different character. It's about a whole different perspective. But I used the title Giddy Up Go because the song needed a title that I was writing. And what better way to do that than to pull something out of, you know, this. This is part of my life, part of Dad, part of my childhood. So, and the song was all about, my song was a far bit different than this, and it was more based on how sometimes you just don't feel like doing anything, let alone music or going to play a gig. And that's kind of, we were going through some tough times, me and the wife, and I wanted to take a break. She wanted me to play. I did, and I was actually opening a stage for two Nashville stars, Adam Craigs and Adam Fears, in October here. And she wanted me to be playing the area here as well to kind of, I don't know, blow up the image more, you know, so people knew who I was and would go to the show, and I was just, and then after the show, and I don't know, this whole, and I remember one day we were fighting about, because I was like, she's like, you got to do this because it's already booked, and I'm like, no, we'll just cancel, I don't want to do that. You know, I played there, you know, it's kind of overkill, you know, Jesus, you know, I'll play there Saturday, I'm not going to do this and that. We fight like that a lot, trust me. Because my wife would like to see me play every day of the week. And, you know, that's good, I guess, but I mean...
Not really every day, but like, you know, a couple times a week. You know.
You're evil, trust me. But,
well, we're going to do that now when we record.
And there's no such thing as you're sick, or you're just not feeling it, or I mean, you know, unless I'm dragging a bag and puking in it, man, I'm playing the gig, you know what I mean? And in a way, she's right. A lot of it's just anxiety, cold feet, you know, just me being a schmuck, lazy. But anyways, the song was hinging around that. That's kind of when it came up, and it was all about. You have to hear the song. Check it out. Just go on my YouTube channel and find "Giddy Up Go," and you'll get the idea behind the song. But the "Giddy Up Go" was like. Was perfect, you know. It was you know, wow, you know, I got this whole idea for a song, and I've got the whole structure, I've got all the words, every word's going, and I've got the feel behind it, and the motivation, and the bounce, and all that. What the hell am I going to call it? Well, wait a minute, we'll throw Giddy Up Go in there. The record, you know, it's a tribute to that, in a way, you know, that nobody knows, but yet it's its own thing. And it's part of my past. Beautiful. So that's why I wrote it. So check out Giddy Up Go. And now let me think. I don't believe, is that actually on a record? No, it's not.
No, we got a lot of
that
songs.
hasn't, so that's still yet
that
to...
one, Silver Cup.
Those still have yet
Place for
to
Me.
make it on, that can make it on the next record. So,
we almost have enough for another 7 songs.
but it is out there on YouTube. There's various recordings of it played all over the place, and yeah, you can check it out. And I think most of those recordings, though they're shot with an iPhone or a pad or whatever, they're pretty good. They're not bad. But yeah, check out that song if you like my music, and that's one, and now you know the reason behind it and where it all came from. And I gotta go call this hillbilly back in the hills and find out what his deal is, and try to get some shut-eye for a few hours. Got a big day tomorrow. Alrighty, peace.